And all right, and we're going, and everybody gets a song, so I gotta start off with that. Whoa!
Oh, like a live
song. It's Jackie on the podcast, Jackie on the train. Jackie speaking Spanish, everybody goes insane. Jackie's here to talk on the podcast here with me, and Jackie's on the podcast. Woo! It's Jackie, but you can also call her Jacqueline Smith.
That's true.
The one, the only, the bilingual, maybe even trilingual, the spectacular, the stunning, the vibrant Jacqueline Smith, all the way from Mexico by way of Wisconsin and Florida and Oakland. She's been all over. Jackie Smith, welcome to the podcast.
Peter, it is an honor. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely.
Wow. I also didn't realize I was getting a song.
Well, you know what? That's your Florida verse right there. How are you doing? You're down in Mexico now, right?
Yeah, I'm good. It's warm. I'm rested. I think I'm hydrated. I'm also dehydrated from the coffee, but I feel good. Yeah. It feels actually really good today.
So we grew up in Cape Coral, Cape Coral.
33904.
33904. And we went to, that's the zip code. And we went to high school together. We graduated high school together. And we also, lived in Orlando around the same time in the college years.
Yeah, we are very lucky. We have crossed paths in many places.
We certainly have, and we'll get into that. But first off, Jackie, I want to do some plugs. So plugs up top. What can we drive the listeners to check out of yours?
Yeah, let's plug my yoga. So with the pandemic and everything, I'm doing online yoga. So The Vibrant Vita, my website's thevibrantVita.me. And thevibrantVita.me, where you can read about what I'm offering from my yoga classes. You can book right there on the spot. You can also email me with any questions. And then my Instagram is Jackie D. So a little unconventional. It's a JACYD. It's a hard C.
Yeah. A hard C. A hard C.
Yeah.
What is it? How have the yoga classes been going? Because that's become a popular thing along with Peloton. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people, offering online yoga classes from remote locations. How's that been? How's that been for you?
It's been a journey, that's for sure. Yeah. It's been interesting. I don't want to say like good or bad, just like interesting because I wasn't part of a studio. Like I wasn't working at a studio before I started it, which probably would have been a lot more helpful. But I've got like my community, I've got my friends, my family, like my loved ones, and people like friends that bring friends. And so it's been organic growth. And, I don't have 50 people in my classes, but everyone is invited to. But
yeah, of course.
It's tight knit, it's intimate, it's sweet, and it has really gotten me through pandemic days for sure.
Oh my
Having
goodness.
something to do and connect and to serve and to be in this space with others. It's been good.
To look forward to. Yeah. I mean, through your eyes, what is the state of the yoga community now? Because when I think of yoga, and listen, I've only been to a few beginners classes. In fact, just preparing for this podcast, I did some stretching and
you do a downward dog.
I did. Yeah. Downward falling over dog, panting dog.
Did a forward fold.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And the thing that I've always enjoyed about those classes is, when, you and I are both, we both grew up from Florida, though our roots are in different parts of the country. When you move to a big city, and you move to New York City, and then you're Oakland, now Mexico City, and we'll get into that. But when I moved to LA, the one thing about LA was, okay, well, you've got your job and your career, but the hobbies or the things you choose to do that are unique to you, that's where you really meet the people, and that's what I really appreciated. I as much as I liked the yoga, I really enjoyed the 10 minutes after class where everybody, had their mat under their arm and was like, hey, do you want to, maybe this is counterintuitive, but hey, do you want to grab a beer, or do you want to go drink some tea at my friend's place? So without that, what's the yoga like now?
Well, that's been really, personally, it's been really hard because Yeah, I didn't, because I came to Mexico like just months before the lockdown and before the pandemic hit. So it's been really challenging for me because I don't really have a community too much. Or is it how, it's not how I want it to be, or, you know, it will get there. But yeah, like, yeah, I miss that human connection, that human interaction, that like, oh, we have this shared interest, but I'm sure we've got more together. So I think with this online yoga, it keeps us connected, which is sweet. It's not as like deep perhaps as like obviously in person, but I think through this, all of this, through this canny,
right.
I think what it has offered practitioners is a chance to be more self-empowered with your practice. It's like, it's not so much about like showing up and what you're wearing and like who's your favorite teacher and if you're in the front row, if you're in the center, you know, it's not as performative, which can really benefit us in the sense that like it becomes a more intimate practice, and that it is like there's been more information for help. How do we help ourselves? Like help me myself. Like, so I think that's at least like, you know, it's not detrimental to this moving to online. It can be really something that like we still can look forward to after, to be together again, but like through, you know, you don't have to have your video on. You can be doing weird things. You can wear whatever you want. You can not have to feel self-conscious about bending a weird way or modifying. So I think the way I like to see it is it's more empowering.
Yeah, it's more.
So you can't do what you want, you know?
Out of necessity, it becomes more for you. Or that's, you know, that's the best way to shine a light on it, is what it sounds like. It's more for you. This is, you know, if there were ever a time for self-reflection, it's definitely been in the last 12 months or so.
Yeah, because your community is still going to be there and you can still connect and be having these groups, but it really like allows for the space to be really personally responsible for learning about yoga, learning about the roots of yoga, learning what you're doing with the pose, learning what like is going on in your mind, your body, your breath, like during a class or during just even a simple little practice or, you know, a little pre-stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fun. Then cool. Then, and we can find those opportunities to sign up for your yoga on vibrantvita.me.
Yes.
There you go. Great. And I'll put a link in the details of this episode. Now, Jackie, you're a man, I would say world traveler. Like you mentioned, you moved to Mexico, October 2019. So yeah, right before the pandemic.
Yeah. I only thought I was going to be here 2 months. I was like, yeah, it's 2 months. Like maybe I'll go back in January. I don't know.
Really? And out of necessity, were you stuck there, or did you just grow to love it?
I mean, like mentally, yes. Like I needed to be here because it's beautiful and warm and sunny, and there's so many plants, and I love Spanish and the food and just like, but January last year, I was like, I'm going to stay for a while, having no idea what's about to, you know, drop on us. And then I was like, okay, well then like February, I'm going to start teaching and like try to do my yoga thing. And then I was like, you're staying and you're going to do your yoga thing.
That's fantastic. And
it's been cool.
Good for you. I mean, and also, you know, let's trace the steps back. In Florida, you went to UCF, and did you major in Spanish? Is that right?
I did.
Okay. Did you graduated, or were you? Yeah,
I did.
You did.
I have my BA in Spanish. Thank you so much.
Wow. Yes. And you are, you know what, energy wise, you know, it's not a surprise to me, but you're this very fiery, you know, Midwestern type girl. And like when you come out with, you know, bursts of Spanish, or, you know, you start dancing, people are like, whoa, was she like white Cuban or something? Like, what is going on?
I would like to say thank you for the dance moves comment, because that is not true, but I would like to believe it.
So please. You're being modest. You're being modest. I've seen you out there. What made you major in Spanish?
I always loved it. I don't know. Like, you know, there's always like, follow your passions. And I was like, well, I really like Spanish. I don't know. I feel like I probably could have used some more guidance, but you know, here we are.
Well, was the first time that you went to when was the first time you went to a Spanish speaking country?
Oh my God, that's so funny. I was just talking about it this morning. It was Costa Rica with Mr. Bolton in 2004.
So Mr. Bolton was our Spanish teacher. Did you get along with him?
Yeah, I thought he was a badass, because I was like, I also want to speak Spanish really well. And thank you for helping. Thank you for being so difficult to make it that I can be better at this. Yeah.
See, I think that's the key. Him and I didn't get along well because I was trying to coast by his class. And had I bought in, I think I would have enjoyed it, but I didn't want to. But he had this great story about going to Cuba
Yeah,
illegally.
I always remember that. I will never forget that story.
Yeah.
Everyone, I'm hopping on a boat and going to Cuba and go fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And props to him. I don't know, I was a punk kid, and I was just like looking to start a fight with my teachers because teachers are teachers.
Teenage
And
brain.
exactly. And so his story is, what was his story? He was like, I'm like you said, I'm going to go on a boat. I'm going to Cuba. I don't care what the U.S. government says. Then on his way back through customs, his passport was stamped twice in a different country, which led customs to believe that he had gone to Cuba and might get arrested. But then somebody in line in front of him like made a big deal and like got detained, so they ushered everybody through quickly. Do you remember his story exactly?
Oh God, wow, your memory is amazing.
It was something along those lines. Yeah,
he like got close to trouble, but then like didn't, and he was like,
yeah.
Fuck you guys.
So what's your story of Costa Rica? What what did you like about it? Did you get to go surfing there or what?
It was really cool, but it was awesome. We went. It was a group trip, and I don't remember how many of us there were, but it was so cool. It was just what I really admired about our teacher is that he was like, I don't want to be doing the touristy things. Like, I don't want to be a big show. Like, we're Americans here. Like, let's just do all the like, I don't know, stuff that he provides for them. So he was more like, I love to get to know the locals. I want to know who these people truly are. So it was really cool. We did do like touristy things, but those are like activities of the country. Like, we went and saw the volcano. We went to some hot springs. I remember we rode horses. We did zip lining. He like had such a cool experience for us. And it was just an awesome time. And then we like took a boat out to this peninsula, and we stayed with like this family that he was friends with, and you could only get there by boat. And like, there was a generator, so we could only stay up late. Like, we stayed up till like 10 p.m. Felt like it was late, and got to know that family.
Yeah, cool. I've been lucky enough to travel outside the United States a handful of times, but for you to be able to do that in like 2004, like through high school.
Yeah.
When it's difficult to describe a vibe, that's why we call it like a vibe. But when you were there, did you feel like, oh well, this is a different pace? And was that what kind of excited you?
I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot I don't remember.
Okay, so you had a really good time.
No, but like, because I don't think that I was like consciously paying attention. Like mindfulness is a practice, and I think I was kind of just like floating through in a lot of things.
Right.
They also say it's like a trauma response. I don't know. So
I mean, if you're talking to me and I'm describing you, I think you are one of the most free-spirited, fun-loving, and caring people. And you're one of those people that isn't free-spirited to the detriment of others, like, because that's so quickly said, oh, she's so free-spirited, like, watch out, she'll, hurt your feelings. But I think you're a caring, cool person. So when did you become mindful of your interest in Spanish-speaking countries, or speaking Spanish enough to, major in it? When did you become mindful?
Well, I think, honestly, like where the passion really ignited was in third grade. It was summer school before third grade. Yeah. Shout out to my mom she loved putting me in summer school. And I was like, okay, I'm doing a Spanish course. I remember my striped shirt that I wore all the time too. Like, I remember weird things. But yeah, I remember taking that summer. That summer was so fun. Oh. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. This is cool. Like another language. And it felt kind of like easy. It came to me. It fascinated me. So I took it all through middle school, and then took it all through college or through high school. And then, when it came time for university, they were like, pick your passion. And I was like, well, I love Spanish. Like, what can I do with this? I'm still figuring that out, but like, just mastering this, like, it felt like I was talking in code, and it's cool.
Yeah. Isn't that so fun?
And just like the way that like understanding and learning and knowing another language, that you just like it, like we're people. We love to we love to gab. You get to gab with even more people with cool stories. You're just like, it opens up your life and your world and the access to just millions and millions and millions of more people that you can learn from, and their perspectives, and that you can connect in ways that like, like in English, it's easy for us to connect one way, but like in Spanish, perhaps it's something else. And like, you get to know people differently, and like just the words are gorgeous, and like
that's
it's
true.
all just everything. I feel like English is cool. Yeah, we know, we get it. But like Spanish is so pretty.
It is pretty, and it's not German. German's very aggressive.
German's cool too, though. I'm here for it.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough other languages, but I feel like, yeah, some languages definitely have their own, you know,
And the way they
eloquent
describe
pattern.
the way they cuss each other out, it's just like, oh, so poetic. It's so nasty or just so pretty. You're like, wow.
You know what's
Creative.
interesting? I was talking to my friend Joe about this, and I remember saying things, you know, we grew up in Florida, so there were people getting tattoos at like 15, 16, maybe even younger. But at that time, I said, oh, well, why would you get a tattoo now? Like, you're not going to like the same thing. You know, you're stuck with that tattoo for the rest of your life. You're not going to like the same things the rest of your life. But it turns out that all the same things I liked in 4th grade and 3rd grade for you, I continue to like to this day. I still am a big fan of soccer. I still like, you know, the same genre.
I see Teddy back there.
Yeah, exactly. I still have the same teddy bear. I still like teddy bears. I still enjoy, you know, the same types of shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think whether you're being mindful or not at a young age, those things kind of stick with you.
Yeah, I have whip tattooed on me. Absolutely.
Where'd you get that? When did you get that tattooed? Where?
2018.
Oh yeah.
Over here on my side.
Wepa. Oh
Wepa.
yeah, the ribs.
Little ribby moment. Yeah.
Does it hurt as much as people say it does?
It all hurts everywhere.
That's the fun of it.
Yeah, like you're not gonna like get off, like not like not feeling some pain. Like
Right.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
You gotta feel the pain. That's part of the fun. Oh, who's this?
This is Hanita.
What's your cat's name?
Her name's Hana, but like she's little, so we say Hanita.
Hanita. Oh wow. She for those listening, this is a very pretty cat with blue eyes. Are those blue eyes?
Yeah.
And it looks like she's curious why there's another person's voice here, but she can't feel or see that person.
She's confused.
Welcome to the Zoom life, Hanita. Well, speaking of life, before you know, you came to move to Mexico, you and your family, you're from Wisconsin. Your family's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And you moved to Florida, which I think makes you even more Floridian than somebody that, you know, was born there.
Oh, wow.
That's I mean, just like me. Like, I was born in upstate New York, but I was raised in Florida. And
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, Poughkeepsie, yes, upstate. And so growing up in Florida, we went to high school together. What do you remember about our high school? Like, what stands out in your mind?
Oh my God.
Well, Mr. Bolton was cool.
Out that you pushed so far away.
Mr. Bolton was so cool, but
cool.
like I said, he was one of those teachers where you had to buy in totally, and I was,
yeah.
I there was some wall that was up for me, and he was. I think the thing was, I thought Spanish was a bird course I could just like fly by, and he was it turns out he was the hardest teacher. He was the hardest Spanish teacher, and the other Spanish teacher, whoever that was, their class was full. I don't even know, but I ended up with him, and you know, I just skirted by. And so yeah, so like other than your experience with Mr. Bolton, who, you know, was cool for those who subscribed to him, you know, what do you remember about going to high school at our high school?
First off, so growing up in Wisconsin,
yeah.
I always went to public school.
Right.
I went to public school. Always went to public school. Like, took the bus, went to public school. Like, so then moved to Florida. My parents moved me to Florida because my parents are older and they retired, and they're like, okay, like, and my sisters are older, so because I was like an oopsie, so there's a big distance between us. So they stayed. I went.
Classic Florida story, by the way. Classic Florida story.
And they're like, oh, we put you in private school. We put you in a Catholic private school with you. Are you fucking kidding me? So first we start with a lot of horror, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of horror there. I'm like, the fuck, a uniform? Ew. And they were just anyways.
You know, Florida has like one of the worst school systems, so I think that they may have felt guilty for dropping you down there, so they were like, we'll put you in a private school just because. I don't know, I think a lot of people think that just because you're in a private school that changes the curriculum, and it might, but nothing changes the fact that you're in Florida. Yes. And I remember exactly. I don't think they did too much research. I think they got like a recommendation, and they're like, oh, cool, we'll take it. But what I remember is, so there's the uniforms, horrified at that, and then something I did like is that it was open air. Like, that was so cool.
Like,
oh yeah.
like everything was open. Like there's the courtyard, and then like going to like walking from class to class, you were outside. Like that's cool. And like you could eat lunch outside. I was like, I like that. Like I'd love to be outside. Obviously, if you can't tell, but
Yeah.
I remember like that was one of the first things I was like, that's cool. I'm here for that.
Yeah, I guess very Florida. The yeah. There was a courtyard. Did you start going there for your freshman year or no?
Yeah, my parents moved me like this summer before freshman year.
Wow.
They're like, we're gonna move in July, and like,
oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember the court. There was like a senior courtyard, and that was the thing to be coveted and or protected, which is cool because I like those silly. I did at the time. I like those like silly traditions. It's like seniors got this thing, and that was nice. And you could eat outside. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
you came in junior year, right?
Yeah. So I was born in Poughkeepsie, and then I moved in like when I was in elementary school, and then I went to a different high school in the area my freshman sophomore year.
You were the new guy. I remember that.
Then junior year I was the new guy, and I transferred schools just because I wanted to play on a better soccer team. That was about it, and it worked out. But yeah, I remember the uniforms too, and it was this unique thing where when you say uniform, I think a lot of school uniform, I think a lot of people think of like Britney Spears.
Oh yeah, the plaid skirt. It was not a plaid skirt moment.
It was nothing like that. But here's the thing that trips out a lot of people is there was a variety of different shirt colors that you could wear. And so, you could wear a black shirt, a pink shirt, whatever, they had a bunch of different colors, but with the BV Bishop Verot logo on the chest. What were the female options? Could you wear a skirt, or was it all just khaki pants?
I was always wearing skirts because I was like, you had like, I liked to do like the midi skirts after I tried to do the ones where like, you put your arms down, but your fingertips have to be below it. I was like, this is annoying.
Oh yeah.
And like some J. Crew shorts that were like chinos.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, who is she? Yeah, no, it was always like, do skirts, but it was all ugly. I wish I would have just, I don't know, whatever.
What was the point of the fingertip length skirt?
Oh, because, just the patriarchy, misogyny.
Yeah, that's so, I don't know.
Gross. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, distraction, your body as a woman, and men, and the gays, like the male gaze.
Oh yeah.
Bullshit, I
guess it was. Yeah, it's like, this skirt can't be too short because it'll distract boys, or it'll give you
maybe they'll fail out of class. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's like, the thing. Yeah, exactly. The thing that bums me out about just Florida in general, and then the school that we went to, which was confirmed to me later in life when I went back for our 10-year reunion.
Oh my God, I still can't believe that you went to that.
Of course I went. In fact,
it blows my mind that you went to that.
I became way better friends with a group of people that I overlooked, and I was so happy that I went.
Oh,
but it was just like, there was no time for conversation. It was just do whatever I say. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
And there's this great book that I would recommend. It's by Chris Voss, and it's called Don't Split the Difference, and it's a negotiating book. And basically, if I could summarize the first half of the book, which is where you get all the lessons from. Basically, if you are negotiating with somebody, or if you're talking to someone and you have a problem, let them on your side to understand what you need to do to solve the problem. In this instance, if you're an administrator, have a 10-minute conversation with a kid to say like, hey, listen, these are, this is the bureaucracy of it. This is what I need to accomplish. This is what I need to make sure of. Your safety, you pass, and, let's, find some kind of common ground. Instead, it was just, no, do this, and then complain. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough this, that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if things were any different anywhere else, or if they're different anywhere else now, but that was just that just continue to make it more administration versus the kids.
Well, not to mention the whole Catholic part.
And that too, yeah.
Let's not forget that creepy ass part.
I enjoyed that because that meant more public assemblies. More like in school assemblies away. Yeah, that's true. Away from, well, just more ways to goof off in school without being in the classroom necessarily.
Oh, I hated it. I was like, there are better things I'd rather be studying. You want me to memorize what? Okay, here's what else I remember. Mr. Batista. Fucking love that guy.
Oh yeah, was he the baseball coach?
I think so. He had the really, really, really deep voice. He was cool.
Oh, I
remember him.
I did not have him because he was like a sophomore or freshman teacher.
Oh yeah, but he was cool.
So you remember, so when you think back at high school, you remember the teachers. Do you remember any, do you remember that one day where as seniors we were able to have like an off-campus lunch?
Oh my God, Peter.
Do you remember that story?
Do you want to tell your version?
Oh my God, I don't know. Oh, it was either Brittany. No, I thought it was.
Brittany.
Yeah, I thought it was Courtney Tincher's house or Anthony Gargano's house.
No, we all went to Brittany's.
Okay, so
no, those other two lived like too far away for the little time that we had.
Got it. So
I hardly remember the teachers. They're just popping up right now. No,
right.
It's the people and the places and the cars and walking through the parking lot.
The cars.
Yeah, you don't remember like house and like some people like did weird things. I think someone was crying. I just remember there being a fuck ton of people.
Well, so
we had a big crew.
We did. So that what happened was for some reason they allowed us to have
by the
off
grace
school.
Of Jesus himself.
I know we were allowed to have off campus lunch. Was it just one time
for other schools?
Yeah, it's like
we had one day.
Yeah, if you get one day, you're gonna go nuts. You're gonna go absolutely insane. By the way, I know exactly. If it's a common thing, it's like kind of
whatever.
Kind of like the way that a lot of European people describe their relationship with alcohol. Well,
totally.
It's around, wine's around, etc. And when I turned 18 or 21 and go berserk,
I love that word. Absolutely. We went berserk.
So we went berserk on this off-campus day. Do you remember? So I don't remember everything, but I do know that one person that listens to this podcast is Collier, who I love. You remember Collier? I absolutely love that dude. And you know what? When we were in high school, I wasn't close enough friends with him. Was he there on this day or no? He wasn't a part of this crew.
That is a tough question.
Who do you remember? Who do you remember showing up? Because we coordinated this thing where we would all go to Brittany's house. I think it was me. Definitely you were there. Brittany.
Karen,
Tinch.
Courtney, Harry, Mike.
Okay. And how would you describe this clique?
Weirdos.
Easily the weirdos.
Like nice weirdos, like fun weirdos, like people like,
yeah.
I feel like we all clicked. We all had like weird interests, but we were all like into hanging out with each other. Yeah.
So Tinch had these artistic parents who were actually like cool with Marilyn Manson or something like that. I don't know.
But cool. I always remember them being so cool.
But like, new interesting people like that, which was interesting for, Cape Coral Fort Myers. And so, artsy, chill, I think into his like certain type of like pop punk emo music. Definitely like smoked some cigarettes. I think Aaron smoked cigarettes.
There's always Smirnoff Ice at Brittany's. Always Smirnoff Ice.
So anyhow, the weirdos, not the jocks or the nerds necessarily.
No, we also all played sports and like loved music and
mm-hmm.
we just like weren't about that status life, I feel.
Exactly. So then this crew, we get one day for off-campus lunch, and what happened? We coordinated to go to Brittany's. Tell me what, walk me through what you remember.
Eat? I don't even think so. I think we probably had like 35 minutes to go to Brittany's house. We lived like 6 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember. I don't remember eating. I just remember there being a ton of people. That's it.
So we had maybe it'll come back to you, but this is what I remember.
Help me.
We had something like 35 minutes, but then there were some people that kind of had a study hall at the beginning or the before or after that class. Because remember, you could kind of do like a study hall or a teacher's assistant thing as a senior. And so it wasn't as important for some people to get back as it was for others. So, and we had maybe a 2-minute buffer in between classes. So it was a 35-minute period, which is not enough for lunch. Give me a break. So 35 minutes, and it was really close to 40 minutes. And so I feel like maybe Blake Wilson was there too.
Of course he was. He was part of the crew.
And this was a different.
Shout out to Blake.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Blake. This was a different day, but you were talking about the parking lot, and one time I got in Blake's car, and we were driving by. By the way, I should mention that Blake is now has the highest level clearance of any military person.
He's a dad, isn't he?
And he's
a dad. Good
and he's a father. But during high school, we got into his Jeep Cherokee. I was in the passenger seat. He was driving. And we saw Lauren Gendron with one of her friends, Brianna something. And as we were driving by, he's driving the car. He rolls down his window, moons them. Then the car is veering towards other parked cars. And he gets back in. And instead of slamming on the brake, and by the way, Lauren and Brianna are watching this, instead of slamming on the brake, he hits the gas, and his Jeep Cherokee goes up on the trunk of a Toyota Purcell or a Corolla or something. This poor girl, and it just crumbled. It crumbled the back, and then he drives back, and this is why I remember it. It's because at the time, everybody that thought they were funny, me included, wouldn't be necessarily uniquely funny, but would just be either loud or have the best memory of movie quotes. So he gets up on this, he's on this car, goes in reverse, it's 4-wheel drive, he gets back off. Lauren and Brianna are stunned. What the hell just happened? And he goes, he goes in reverse all the way back to where they're standing, and he goes, "If you tell anybody about this, I'll fucking kill you," which is, obviously a reference to Will Ferrell in Old School. But then we skirted off, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" I think I was hiding in the front seat. But anyhow, Blake was there on this other day, and this is what I remember. I remember we all somehow got there at the same time for this off-campus lunch, and what happened was I think we were just drinking and smoke. There were people smoking
were trying to
weed.
Consume as much as they could in the 2 minutes we had.
Yeah, it was there was nothing off limits. It was oh yeah, like you said, Brittany's always got Smirnoff Ice. We were drinking as much Smirnoff Ice as we could, and then Tinch and Aaron. Oh my god, I remember Aaron saying, I remember Tinch saying this, and Tinch was very cool. I think she had razor cut hair, blue dyed hair or something like that, and she got in trouble for it. Which was very edgy at the time. She said, she said to Anthony, "Did you get the accoutrement or something like that?" And she was talking about weed. And I was yeah, something like that. Yeah, that was her code word. And so that's what we were talking about in class before. And as soon as we all got there, boom, we were all getting drunk at I don't know, what is this, 11:30? We're all 17, 18, drinking Smirnoff Ice. Yeah, exactly. They were drinking, we were all drinking. There was weed being smoked, and we're in our school uniforms. I remember turning on the TV for some reason and jumping over the couch because they had I don't remember the living room exactly, but it was very, it was filled with blankets. It seemed very cozy. And everything was just very loud. Right. Everything was very loud for 25 minutes. It was just nonstop, consuming food, consuming alcohol.
It was chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people were smoking cigarettes inside, smoking weed inside. It was a hurricane of about 10 high school kids. And then
I think there was at least 20 people there.
It might have been more. Yeah. It might have been more for sure. Yeah, we could have been 20. And then we all sort of made it back. Do you remember anything else about that? Or
I do not. I just remember chaos. Pure, very concentrated chaos.
It's absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. And by the way, yeah, we made it back in time, and I was driving a Toyota Celica at the time. It's gone now.
Oh.
No more Celica.
I know, I can't believe that. Well, remember when you picked me up in LA from the airport? I just want your listeners to know how amazing that is.
Oh,
that is that's a friend.
I don't even, well,
You picked me up in the Celica, and I remember my jaw was on the fucking floor.
what were you doing in LA? Oh, thanks.
Just popped in there for like 36 hours.
Oh my gosh, so fun, dude.
Yeah, but I was like, first off, you came to pick me up. Like, could you be any nicer? No. And then
No,
B, it was in your fucking Celica.
oh man, that car lasted a while.
R.I.P. What a good
RIP.
life. What a good life.
The good life of a car, 200,000 miles. Yeah, it's seen a lot. Seen a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so then high school ends, and why is it so hard, do you think, for people in Florida to leave Florida? Because
Oof.
a lot of us went to schools in Tampa or Orlando, Tallahassee even. Is it what and I went to Birmingham. I was like, I was excited to get out. First moment I wasn't necessarily conscious of it because I've always been a homer type of a person. I've always been like, hey, I'm for the cause, that type of thing. But something told me I had to get out of Florida. But why do you think so many people leave our hometown, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, for like Orlando, Tampa, and then move right back?
I don't know. I mean, you got to get out of your hometown. Like,
right.
That's just a fact.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my opinion or just a fact. Well, I know why I stayed in Florida was because it paid for my college.
Yeah. So they had this sunshine. What was it called? Rising Stars, Sunshine Scholars, or something like that. Where if you had a certain
bright scholars.
Oh my God. Well, we wouldn't get it now. We wouldn't get it now. Yeah. Bright Sunshiners, Bright Futures.
Oh, there we are. Good for us.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah. We have two brain cells left, and they finally rub together to create the fire that is Bright Future Scholarship. And what did you need to qualify for that? Do you remember, like a certain GPA?
It was great. Yeah, it was GPA, and it was test scores and GPA. And so I worked my ass off, and I was like, well, my mom was like, your sisters are super in debt. Like, it would not serve you to also be in debt. Like, if
true.
we've learned anything, it's like try not to be in debt for your college. And so I was convinced to stay.
That's good. Well, what did you want to do? Did you want to go to like?
I really wanted to go back to Wisconsin. I applied. Yeah, like I did. I got into University of Wisconsin-Madison and Milwaukee, and I was like, oh my God. And then it was going to be just thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a semester. And so like, it wouldn't serve me just, to do that. And so I applied to UCF, got in, and then with the scholarships, I got a whole ride.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I have zero college debt.
Amazing.
And through other scholarships, I got enough money to pay for books, and
that is so
insane.
Good for you. Why Orlando? What made Orlando so?
Because I had a couple friends that were like a couple years older that went there and they liked it. That was it.
Cool. Good for you. Good for you.
Really didn't go into things thinking a lot. I don't know. A lot of forward planning and strategy, but really it worked out.
To this day, I think I'm about the same way because I was looking at different colleges and I knew I wanted to play soccer and had the opportunity to play soccer in college. And when I settled on Birmingham, well, here's the thing. When I was looking at schools, let me think if you were the same way. When I was looking at schools, I didn't know anything about the state of Illinois. I didn't know anything about Chicago. I didn't know about Boston. If I'd known about those cities, I would have definitely wanted to move there,
Yeah, if I had been thinking way more outside the box, definitely.
Yeah, or maybe even Los Angeles, but I don't know. I don't think LA is the place for like an 18-year-old kid that's like.
Same for New York. Like I had friends that were like, I came here for college. I'm like, are you okay? I really don't think you're okay.
Have you fully cooked? Yeah, are you fully developed? But
when I fell forward, again.
But let me know if you're this way. When I was looking at colleges, I was looking at like it was St. Bonaventure, it was Rollins College, it was St. Andrews, it was Birmingham, but they were just like names. Like I didn't, and I was talking to people who had some experience, like coaches and adults and stuff. And they were like, St. Bonaventure, it's the coldest winters anywhere.
Oh, no.
Birmingham, it's in Alabama, don't forget, and et cetera. And, St. Andrews, which was in North Carolina, they were like, what is that? It's just got a good equestrian program, just like in the middle of nowhere.
On boots.
Exactly. So so you were just going off of the advice of, you know, a couple older people that had gone there. Huh?
Yeah. Also, what really attracted me too is, well, after being, you know, scarred by being, you know, public schools, big communities, into this tiny little private Catholic high school.
Oh,
Well, we had 2,000 people, 1,000 people. I don't know, we had like, no, there was just a small population. And what really drew me to UCF was that at the time, which now it's a lot more, but like at the time there were 40,000 people. And I was like,
wow.
sign me up, put me in that. Like, I want to be surrounded by a ton of people from all over doing cool things.
That's almost the
Yeah,
equivalent of, you know, a small city, obviously. And
yeah.
also, I feel like Orlando is a blue dot in a red state.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, go where the blue dots are where you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
your first instance of finding out that, oh wow, Orlando is a blue dot? You know, whether you were told it or not, you know, your experience going up there, because you were there freshman through senior year.
Well, I think I really love like the vegan options.
Wow, that is true. That's very true. It's the
I think
food.
that's probably the first thing I can think of that impacted me. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Like what? And just in the cafeteria or just in
That
the
place is like,
city?
yeah, as options. And like I
Nice.
was flirting with all that. So I was like, this is nice. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I do remember being like a reminder that I was a blue lady in a red space. I don't know how to say
Yeah.
it, but like
I'm
I
a
do
blue lady. Yeah.
dress on, I was ready. But I remember being so excited to vote for Obama. I remember I was like, oh my God, I get to vote. I get to
Right.
vote. And the roommate I was living with at the time was like, not about him. And I was like, you crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then here's a fun, vivid memory is the night of the election. So
Hmm.
this roommate, I know she's not listening, whatever. She, we're out at the library, my favorite place,
Yes.
RIP.
Nice
And they're
library.
about to announce the results. And I obviously voted for Obama.
Yeah.
And she had this nasty boyfriend,
Oof.
whatever. So we're with them. Gross.
Yeah.
And they're about to say like their results. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like texting my mom because like everyone else there is like kind of on a different vibe. And I was like, okay.
Mm.
And then when Obama wins, I only remember like not a lot of us went off about being excited.
Really?
I remember being like, and I remember just like texting my mom, being like, oh my God, like all this. And like, she was just like there with her nasty, like weed selling boyfriend, like, and I'm like,
What?
fuck you guys.
Ugh.
And I remember being like, I'm not staying here for the rest of my life. And I'm just really happy Obama won.
Yeah, my gosh.
Yeah, it was weird. People were like not excited. People were like upset and like booing and just like weird vibes.
The thing, the more you talk and the more we chat about Florida, I feel like if you buy in, like Mr. Bolton, like if you buy into Florida, then you're
Yeah.
having a great time. Like, good for you. You're having a
Yeah.
good time. It's good enough for you. And I would never slight anybody for having a good time. I like to have a good time myself,
Like have a good
just
time.
not for me. Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
but the tribe that I find myself linking with are, the people like us who left, and maybe hopped around a little bit and just wanted to see the rest of the world. At what, after UCF, after Orlando, you moved to New York City not soon after, and then you moved to Oakland after you were in New York City for a while, right?
7 years. Yeah.
7 years. Then Oakland, now Mexico City. Might be challenging, but what's one thing about Florida that growing up you didn't think was too strange that became odd after leaving? Kind of like the humidity. It's like you don't understand it. You don't understand it until after you leave. It's like, oh, every place must be like this. No, it's for sure not. Like, what's one cultural thing that was highlighted about Florida after you left?
Oh, that's a hard one. Ooh, that is a tricky one. Well, here's something funny, Peter.
Yeah.
So just this past October, and I don't like to talk about traveling during pandemics, but I did go to Florida for my first time in 5 years.
Wow. That's
in October.
That's a good stretch of time to be away. I commend you.
Thank you. Well, yeah. So So I went because I wanted to see my parents, and I hadn't seen my parents in over a year and a half. And so I was like, well, if I can make this work safely, plan the quarantine, more than 2 weeks before seeing them, and,
Mm-hmm.
Was safe and everything. And it was interesting. It was really weird. And but it was cool. And I think I don't know if it's like a cultural thing, but just appreciating just the beauty of just being on the water.
In Florida.
Yeah, it was just so
nice.
I don't know if that's a culture thing, but if I was me now living there, I'd be at the beach all the time. All the time. I would just want to be there watching sunsets. So I don't know if that does not, I know that does not answer your question.
No, that makes sense because, anybody that grew up in New York, down I-95, on the East Coast, etc., they travel to Florida, they're in a different mode. But the thing is, people that grow up there or live there, they're in that mode constantly. So I don't know if you can help but be on, whatever, sunshine time, or whatever. For me, one of the things that stands out is the acceptance of hurricane season and
yeah, like hurricane party.
Hurricane party.
Disaster.
I know, and we know it's coming. There's multiple days of preparation that go into it, just to lead to last minute scrambling, to who's throwing the party, who's got the most stable house, where do I want to black out when we're blacking out,
Shutters down, let's go.
Shutters down, let's go. And whereas, other natural disasters, tsunami on the other coast, obviously tsunamis and earthquakes.
That's what we deal with now is earthquakes.
But they happen in, at the drop of a hat, in the middle of nowhere.
So much scarier.
Well, you asked, okay. Yeah, I think that's maybe one thing. It's just we're on island time Florida time all the time, which is interesting. Peninsula time.
Ooh.
There's what's the Florida version of island time? What should we call it? Peninsula time? Florida time?
I guess just Florida time. Yeah,
Florida time.
Florida time. Yeah.
I think Florida time is like a hurricane, seeing it coming, waiting until it's a real issue to start worrying about it,
And then it might be too late. But you might make it out.
Wow, yeah.
It's hard to say.
It might be too late, but you also might make it out.
You might.
That's the perfect way to summarize life in Florida. All right, now you asked me before we wrap it up. You asked me if there were any questions that were off or any topics that were off base. There are none. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about before we wrap it up here?
I feel like honestly, we could just gab all day. Peter, you're such a joy.
We really could. Oh, thank you.
There's a million things we could talk about.
Let's think about, before we exit this, I want to think about all the times we've crossed paths, because I do not remember picking you up in LAX.
It was literally 3 years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's your most recent memory.
I know. Oh, gosh. I remember. Okay. So I obviously remember moving to Orlando, and you were there.
Yes. And you lived in the lofts with those two guys, and you always had the best pool. And it was always so much fun. And I want to give a shout out to Shorty, because I hope he fucking listens to this podcast.
I love Shorty.
He's always had so much fun at that pool.
It sounds so obvious. Exactly. It sounds so obvious that everybody would have a friend in Florida named Shorty from the Keys. And doesn't he have his own cafe in Miami now?
Yes, love it.
Of course he does. Yeah, and he sells real estate. Of course he does.
Yeah, he's just
So we crossed paths.
Listening to this.
I know. There was one time. Oh my gosh, I remember this. This was probably the beginning. This had to have been 2009, maybe 2010. No, maybe 2008. But it was the start of my I was just coming off of being the sports guy, the soccer guy. That ended for me with my shoulder surgery. And then my grandfather passed away around the same time, and I got kicked out of college for partying too hard. So I moved
from one fire sign to the other. Can't say I'm surprised.
Oh my goodness. So then I moved to Orlando, and I went to I started going to Valencia. But around this time, I was looking for like my identity, and I was thinking about things, and I started to do stand up. And I was over at your apartment one night, and I don't know how I remember this, but there was something where I was talking about. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna do stand up comedy, and you're like, tell me a joke, and I was like,
what a bitch.
No. I mean, no, you just wanted to hear it.
Such a bitchy question.
You wanted to hear it. I mean, listen, we were pretty comfortable with each other. So you asked me, tell me a joke. And there was this joke that I was trying to come up with about shaving, and I had cut myself, and you were, oh my God, it was the funniest response, because you were like, what, are you going to cut yourself before every show? Like, you cut your face. It was so funny. And it was one of the earliest memories of me being reminded that, like, oh, well, you better be prepared no matter what the circumstance. And like, if you're going to say you're going to do something, it better be good, and you better be ready at a drop of a hat. Because, we were just like hanging out in your apartment, and you were like, yeah, tell it to me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's a big part of this. And that was kind of the part of the genesis of me, understanding deadlines and taking it seriously. Cause you could do something, but unless you take it seriously or put heavy stakes on yourself, and the stakes at that time and continue to be, I just don't want to embarrass myself.
I'm happy I could have been a part of that, because
you're a massive,
that's amazing.
massive inspiration. And then we crossed paths in New York, right? And
I think I saw you at least twice.
I believe I took a yoga class from you, maybe, or I went
to that one studio that I like.
Yes. Was that near Union Square?
Yes.
Yes. Over next to the Whole Foods.
16th and 6th.
Yeah, not next to a Whole Foods.
No, 16th and 6th. I remember.
16th and 6th. Oh.
Mm-hmm. You were like, oh my God.
Did you enjoy living in New York? And at what point did you ever compare it to Florida? Like, did you ever say, like, this is an apartment in Florida, this is an apartment in New York? No, you're just
no. But I will be comparing every single apartment I go into now for the rest of my life to New York. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much space. There's so much space. Your place is massive. How do you have so much space? That will be me from now on.
Space. That is one thing that I've seen a lot of people go from New York to LA. It's like, oh my God, there's so much space. Particularly,
I do have a fun really quick Florida story.
Please.
That then you're like thinking about going to different cities and comparing, and how about when I got my haircut here in Mexico City, and this just came to me, so sorry, it's off. But anyway, so I was like, okay, I need a haircut. Pandemic, put a mask on, you gotta be safe. These like people on Facebook are like, we're two sisters, we just opened up, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you just like opened up your own salon in Mexico City, and like thinking that they're from Mexico. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, like great. Like, I need my haircut, I need my hair colored, and I go and I'm like ready to like be with these two Mexican sisters.
Right.
Hey, girl, it's these two blonde sisters from Tampa.
From Tampa? How did they find? I know, right? It's like, even though it's identical, almost identical. Well, even though it's similar to your story, someone that lived in Florida and now lives in Mexico, you think, oh, you're from Tampa. How did you end up here? How did they?
By way of Brooklyn as well.
No way.
I don't understand, but like, yeah, by way of Brooklyn. I was like, okay, this is so, it was like, whoa. And then, they just like wanted to be somewhere warm, more affordable, and not in the US, I guess.
Did you find, that's interesting.
Really cool. We had fun.
I find myself being nervous around other Floridians in other states. Did you guys click right away, or Was it like a showdown, like two dogs passing each other on a sidewalk?
Oh my God, no. It was like all of the rays of the sunshine. We were just having so much fun. We were just gabbing. Oh my God, can you believe that? Have you done this? Have you tried that? Like this.
Oh, Busch Gardens. Yeah, go to the beach. Yeah, exactly. Monzinus. Great. We love it. That's incredible. It is interesting to see those Florida people out there. Did I ever visit you in Oakland? Did I ever see you up there?
No. I was only there like just over a year. I was like 15, 16 months there.
And so what's next for you, Jackie? What's your plan was to be in Mexico for 2 months. You've been there over a year throughout the pandemic.
Yeah.
What's the next step? Continue the yoga or in Mexico City, or what's down the line for you?
I'd really like to hit up the beach. I'd really like, so my goals are like make it so that I am having like my professional life is remote so that I can be wherever. And I want to be on a Mexican beach.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I want to make my dollars, do my stuff online.
Heck yeah,
speak Spanish and live on the beach. Yeah,
and
and then eventually be able to teach people in person, and teach in both languages.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. For those travelers listening, what would you say? How would you compare Florida beaches to Mexico beaches? What do they have? Like, what's the water like? What's the sand like? What's readily available? What's nearby? The food, the drinks, etc.
This is with a heavy heart that I respond that I have not really traveled. I haven't traveled enough to the beaches with the quarantine. I haven't really, I don't really feel like hopping and bopping around because I just want to I've been very quarantined.
You've got to be safe. No, that's so smart.
So I will TBD on that. But I did, when I was home in October, I did make my mom, I was like, we're going to Sanibel.
Yeah.
Amazing. So hopefully there's a lot of seashells, but I don't know.
You know what? The LA beaches,
yeah, how are those?
In LA, everybody looks for the beach that's secluded, but there's so much of the coast that is developed. For instance, there's like a store, there's housing, there's a place to get your haircut, all those things on the beach. But in Florida, I feel like that was kind of an afterthought, or they're not at that stage yet. You can't
really get that close.
Exactly. Yeah. And in places like Sanibel, maybe there's a resort on the beach, but that's about it. It's not, or maybe there's a Hooters, there's not like a big community. There is Fort Myers Beach, which is its own city. It has its own things, but like, as far as things developed on the beach, I think the West Coast made more of an effort to do that.
Yeah.
And, and we kind of look for those secluded places, but in Florida, I feel like those secluded places are a little easier to find.
Yeah.
Would you say?
In October, I was with my best friend and she's from Tampa. So it was really wonderful because she really helped. I mean, it had been 5 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so she really renewed and re-sparked my love and appreciation for the space for Florida. And just because she's from there and she just knows and loves and she has so many beautiful little childhood memories, pre-teenager. And so we wound up going to Treasure Island.
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island, yes. And we found a Sunset Beach. I don't know.
Oh, that's like a beach. Okay, got it. Yeah.
It's just a little island. They named it Treasure Island. And we wound up finding our beach, and it was Sunset Beach. And it was I felt like we were cute little honeymooners. And we would go every day. And it was 20 minutes from our Airbnb. And it was also pretty secluded. And it was awesome. It was just it was, what this beach was for me was so healing. It was just beautiful. It was sweet. You know what else we did one day? I don't know if you ever did this, but she's like, didn't you bring inflatables and go to didn't you guys used to do that in the water? And I was like, no.
Not really. Yeah.
No. So she's like, let's try it. So we went and got some floaties, circle inner tubes, and we just went and floated.
Oh.
It was so nice.
That definitely sounds like a Florida type appointment. Hey, we're going to go float and skimboard on the beach. You want to just go and hang and float around?
And then
Hell
to make
yeah.
it even more Florida is a rainstorm came in. You know how like the rain in Florida, like you can see, we watched the rain come in, we got rained on.
Oh no.
And then as we were floating, boom, a rainbow.
Oh, that's beautiful. How long did the rain last? 20 minutes?
Yeah. Give or take.
Hysterical.
It was magical.
Well, another example of Florida being what you make it. Jacqueline Smith, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. You rock.
Yeah, thanks.
I hope we remain friends for the rest of our lives.
I mean, I've known you since I was 16.
Wow. And now you're
really can't say that about other people.
Now you're 58. So, that's been a long.
Oh my God. If I look like this at 58, I can almost say a prayer. Fingers crossed.
Just kidding. Yes, let's continue. And you know what? Anytime you find yourself at the LAX airport, just dial me up. You know the number.
You're so sweet. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. This was so fun.
Absolutely, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Floridians, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time.